God of War Ragnarok truly a sequel to 2018's God of War? Or is it just DLC repackaged in some fancy look to be sold for $60 to $70 as a full price game?
Come in. Come in! Now, if you would just wipe your feet very thoroughly, I'll wait.
Let's get this straight. Everyone knows that Ragnarok is an amazing game. There have been numerous 10 out of 10 reviews, and it's clear that Sony Santa Monica studios have nailed it again. However, people always find a way to be negative about things. That is why some gamers are expressing their opinion and believe this game to be no more than DLC for 2018's Game of the Year, God of War. Even if Ragnarok is just DLC that was repackaged into a new game, a continuation of one of the best games ever created is not a bad thing at all. However, I believe Ragnarok to be more than just DLC. In today's video, I will explain why I not only think that God of War Ragnarok could bring home another Game of the Year award, but also why this title is worthy of being called a true sequel. I will have some of my gameplay to go along with this, as you're seeing now, most of which is spoiler free, and there's nothing major here that's going to be spoiled. Maybe a few instances where you're like, wow, I didn't see that coming. That's about it. So this game is a direct continuation following the end of 2018's God of War. Kratos, Atreus, aka Loki, and Mimir gather once again to explore one of the most gorgeous worlds to ever be featured in a video game. This time, their battle is to survive the impending doom of Ragnarok. In Norse mythology, Ragnarok is a series of events including a great battle, foretelling the death of numerous great figures including the gods Odin, Thor, Tyr, Freyr, and Loki. Natural disasters and the subversion of a world in water. After these events, the world will rise again, cleansed and fertile, and the surviving and returning gods will meet, and the world will be repopulated by two human survivors. Fimbulwinter is a prophesized winter event in Midgard. It is a 3-year-long period of heavy snow and blizzards, which serves as a foreboding occurrence for Ragnarok, the total annihilation of all the 9 realms. Some locations return from 2018's God of War, but they usually look totally different and are certainly not just copied and pasted. There are also new realms to explore which were forever locked in the previous title. Not all realms are covered in heavy snow as you might assume. Each realm is affected differently by Fimbulwinter, and you can bet there is some insane variety between all the various realms. I've only visited 4 of the 9 realms so far, but each has had me in awe.
There are resources.
Midgard is where Kratos and Atreus' home is located. Svartalheim is the home of the dwarves. Alfheim, where the light and dark elves are locked in an unending conflict centered around the Temple of Light. I most recently arrived in Ironwood, which is a hidden location and home of the giants. I still need to visit Niflheim, Jotunheim, Muspelheim, Vanaheim, Helheim, and Asgard. Who knows, maybe the game will surprise me with other locations. I've already experienced what seems to me an astral plane of sorts, so who knows what else is to come. There are many returning characters, but also lots of new ones. You may have seen trailers where the rather pudgy and unattractive version of Thor is featured. He is one of the many great inclusions of Norse mythology. This game may be one of the best representations of Norse mythology to ever exist. God of War goes about it in a different way than, say, Marvel or other movie and TV shows that rely somewhat on Norse mythology. Boss battles are just as epic as ever in Ragnarok, but now there are quite a few more mini-boss battles which also pack a serious punch. There's no shortage of over-the-top cinematic sequences mixed with truly engaging and powerful combat. There are some new additions to the combat which make it even more exciting than before. You can even get the chance to fight as more characters than just Kratos himself. For instance, since Atreus is now older, you get the chance to control him at times. Not just with simple commands to tell him to do things, but you are Atreus himself. Let's just say this combat is much more fun than you may imagine, and they do an amazing job of mixing his bow with some intense melee action. I'm a mere 10 to 15 hours into this game so far, and it's expected to take anywhere from 40 to 60 hours to complete it 100%. That's my goal, but it will be a long battle and one that I surely will enjoy every second of. Another thing to note is that this game can be pretty difficult if you want it to be. I'm talking extremely hard. I'm not the type to enjoy putting myself through such pain, but there are 5 difficulties that you have that give plenty of options in terms of self-torture. I myself have been swapping between the 2nd and 3rd difficulty, depending on whether or not I get stuck on certain boss battles, which can be quite frustrating at times.
Behind you! Incoming! Another 8 yards! To the right!
I only have a few minor gripes with the game so far. Luckily, there are 0 major issues, and it's pretty great to see a game launch in working condition like this. The first negative that I have with this game is that it launched without a photo mode. The devs have said one is coming in a future patch, but no telling how long that will take. It doesn't make sense to me why there wasn't a photo mode at launch, considering there was already one in 2018's title. Secondly, some of the puzzles can be very difficult or tedious, as with 2018's God of War. Depending on how you look at them, it just really varies. It's always satisfying when you figure out an intricate puzzle, but having to look up a guide on how to finish it can be annoying. I've had to do this multiple times already. The game sometimes gives you audio cues that are supposed to hint, but oftentimes that just isn't enough for my poor little human brain.
Whoa! Is that a bug?
Other than that, I am absolutely enthralled by what God of War Ragnarök brings to the table. I find myself attempting to put the game down for a bit, rest my eyes, do something productive in real life, but then I'm drawn right back in by one of the next plot points or gorgeous locations. I am enjoying the storytelling in this game just as much as the combat and exploration. Everything has been weaved together so perfectly, and I think the devs over at Santa Monica Studio may have earned themselves yet another Game of the Year award. The only other serious competitor for that would be Elden Ring, a game that I still haven't even played. It's hard to say what exactly will end up happening in the story of God of War Ragnarök, but one thing is for sure, I'm in it for the long haul. A game like this deserves to be played from start to finish in its entirety. It just isn't that often that a game this polished, gorgeous, and fun to play is released.
So, what do you do here?
Paint, forage, survive, preserve everything.
But why wait for me?
Because my destiny is to tell you yours.
So, I ask you, have you played any of God of War Ragnarök yet, or any God of War game? This one is a cross-gen game, meaning it is still available on PS4 and now available on PS5. I've been playing the PS5 version, and I can say the game runs great in performance mode. Personally, I couldn't fathom playing this game in resolution mode. It's just so choppy that way, and it's a very noticeable difference with a slight difference in resolution. It's just not worth it. Another huge benefit of the PS5 version is the inclusion of some pretty cool DualSense features involving the haptics and adaptive triggers. It's not the best out of any PS5 game I've played, but it's good. It's like what you expect from a first-party Sony title. So, leave your comments below and let me know if you think God of War Ragnarök is a true sequel or mere DLC shaped into a full-price game. I appreciate you watching this video, and I will catch you in another one soon. Peace out.
Did you know about it?
I did. I'll be up above you, but keep going the way you're going.